Welcome to Gutsy Talks. I'm Rachel Larson, your host, naturopath and nutritionist, and I'm here to have real, honest conversations that can help you heal your gut, calm your mind, and fall back in love with food. Together with leading health experts, we'll dive into all things gut health and explore the deep connections between your gut and overall well-being, so you can feel empowered to take control of your health and live your best life. If you love all things gut health, follow me for more on Instagram at rachel.larson or head to rachellarson.com.au. Now, let's get into today's episode. Today's guest is Cyndi O'Meara, a true trailblazer when it comes to questioning what's really in our food. With a Bachelor of Science majoring in nutrition and anthropology, Cyndi is a leading nutritionist, filmmaker, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, and the founder of Changing Habits, the Changing Habits Farm, and the Nutrition Academy. Her mission? To help humanity reach its full health potential through education. And that starts with knowing exactly what we're putting in our bodies. Cyndi's known for cutting through the industry noise, exposing hidden truths about the food system, and empowering people to make better choices for their health and the planet. Today, she's here to help us uncover what's really hiding in our food and what we can do about it. So welcome to the show, Cyndi.
Thanks, Rachel.
I'm so excited to have you here. I think this is a really important topic that we're covering today because while food should seem like a really simple thing, it's anything but in our modern day living. And when you go into supermarkets and you've got social media involved, it's kind of actually a bit of a nightmare for people. I guess you would probably agree with what your experience is.
Yeah, it is. And I do feel sorry for the people that are the uninitiated, because you walk into a grocery store and you're told to look at the protein, fats, carbohydrates, and vitamins and minerals. Let's say you want to be on low fat, you're going to look for less fat. So you look at the nutritional label, but you actually fail to see what's in the food by not reading the ingredients. And I've been saying this for 45 years. Look at the ingredients, check what is in your food. Don't worry about the fat, the carbohydrates, protein. Look at the quality.
Yes.
But that's really hard. Like if you're like in my age group, most people forget their glasses.
Yeah.
And my husband is one of them. And he'll pick it up and he'll go, oh, that looks good, and he'll bring it home and I go, what were you thinking? So because he's not taking his glasses with him. And then when it's with your age group, you probably got 5 kids with you tagging along,
Oh, there's bribes and things,
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you cannot look at it. So I find it is hard. But once you know, you will know, and you go straight to the right item. So instead of looking at 10 items of tomato paste or 10 items of chickpeas or whatever it is that you're looking for that are the basic ingredients that you want to use if you are a home cook, then you'll know that there's one that has acidity regulator, there's another one that has a thickener, there's another one, but there is one on the shelf that will be perfect. And so it's a matter of maybe doing a bit of study with the foods that you regularly buy that are packaged. And once you've done that study, you know the exact brand that you need to go for.
Yeah, and I think like this stuff, like you said, it's maybe for people it is going to be a learning experience. We're going to be learning these things. We're going to be learning about the supermarket shelves in a completely different way. Like we're probably not going to get it perfect that next shop that we do, but we're going to start making those changes. And I think, what you said about the macronutrients, the fats, proteins, carbs, like we're missing the point when it comes to what's in our food. Like it's a lot more than just those things these days. So I guess like just to be really clear before we really start this conversation, what is real food? What is processed food? And what is ultra processed food? Like, and do you kind of see like, how do you explain it to people?
Yeah, so real foods are what we see that come out of the ground or come off a tree or is fed by the ground or fed by a tree, so that would be meat that has not been processed, no additives or anything. So it's a chicken that's killed, processed a little bit, where the things the feathers are plucked off it, and then it goes and it comes to the supermarket or it goes to your butcher. So that's your meat. And then your nuts, they're whole and in their shells still. Then you've got fruits and vegetables that have come from perhaps your farmers. So and in that realm, there are categories.
Yeah.
So there's your fruits and vegetables that have been sprayed heavily. They've got a peel on them. They've had nature seal done to them. Like, and these might be new names for people, but this is what they're doing to conventional grown fruits and vegetables here in Australia.
Mm.
Or you could have fruits and vegetables that are grown like on my farm. And they are no chemicals have been sprayed on my land for 10 years. I grow everything in a syntropic type of atmosphere where there's not just a monoculture, but there's lots of things growing. But that's okay, I can do that. But there are other farmers that are like me who take it to farmers markets
Mm.
and you can buy from them there. So you don't have to have a farm, you don't have to have a garden. You can get these at your farmers market. So real food is anything that is basically comes out of the ground. No processing has been done to it, such as nature seal, a peel, or even chopped up or peeled or something
Mm.
like that. So that's the real food. Then the processed food is something that has been, you go to the supermarket and they've chopped up the carrot for you,
Mm.
or they've done some little processing to it.
Yeah.
Then ultra processed food is food that looks like food, smells like food, tastes like food, but isn't food.
Yeah.
It's a bunch of chemicals like acidity regulators, flavors, and colors. And I hate this thing on natural flavors. Oh, we don't have any artificial
Yeah.
flavors, but they got natural. There is nothing different, bar one ingredient, between artificial and natural. All
Mm.
they have to do, let's just say that they are making up strawberry flavoring.
Yep.
Artificial strawberry flavoring is made up of 48 chemicals, including diactyls and acetones. And oh, you should see what the ingredients are
Wow.
in strawberry flavoring. That's artificial.
Yeah.
To call it natural, one ingredient in that 48 has to come from real food. So what
Wow.
they do is they get the banana, they know what the smell of the banana is. It's a chemical. They extract that out of the banana and then they can call that a natural flavor.
Wow. We've all had like the wool pulled over our
Oh,
eyes.
definitely. I'll tell you another natural flavor.
Yes.
So let's look at natural vanilla
Yep.
flavor. So that is they use synthetic biology to produce this.
Mm.
So what they do is they get a bacteria and they get the gene of the smell of the vanilla pod out of it,
Mm.
put it into that bacteria, put it on plastic,
Oh, I don't like this.
put it on plastic, and then it has a metabolite it produces something that smells like flavor. But then you can't just have that metabolite, you have to add other things to it to make sure that people who buy from that manufacturer, and by the way, there are only about five manufacturers in the world of flavors,
Wow.
the biggest being fragrances and flavor.
Yep.
That's the name, is fragrances and flavor. So think how perfume is made and things like that.
Yeah.
So they only need, like they then, yeah, and you have to add a whole bunch of things. And then they give it to another manufacturer and it says natural vanilla flavoring. And so that's all they have to put on the label, natural vanilla flavoring. So it could be in your chocolate, could be in your custard, could be
Mm.
in any of those things. Don't be fooled by natural. Natural can either be synthetic biology, which is also called precision fermentation, which is also called biotechnology, or it can be made with a bunch of chemicals just with the smell of the vanilla,
Yeah.
component,
Yeah.
or it can be completely synthetic or artificial and it will have nothing natural in it whatsoever. They are masters of trickery. They are masters at making you think you are smelling something, tasting something, looking like something. They are masters, the food industry. And
It makes you angry. Like it makes me really angry again. Like there are like even that degree of deception. I thought the natural flavor, I was like, there's no such thing as natural flavoring. But I thought, okay, it's got to be significantly better in one way. And no, like I'm like, well, now I'm pissed off, like that's oh my goodness. And that's something, and this is what like I wanted to chat about is like we're doing things with the very best of intentions. We're completely blind in this industry, trying to feel our way around in the dark, try to choose the best things. And even when we do, it's not what it appears to be. And I guess like for those examples, and I'm probably jumping to the end, people are probably thinking, well, what the hell do I do? What do I eat? And I guess we're going to get to that, what we need to do. I think the answer is kind of clear where it's really about real food. But I want to get into, I guess, a bit later, a bit more of the practical application, because there are times where you might need convenience, or there's kids, or I don't know, like there's just real food 24/7, 100% just may not be what feels like maybe at this stage possible for people. So I guess like I want to chat about later what are ways that we can combat that. But before we move on to that, other things in food which I think are getting a lot of airtime at the moment are emulsifiers, gums, and thickeners. I think again they can go under a few different names. They're used in a ton of different products. So are they really as bad as, I know the answer, but like are they really as bad as what I guess the some information's coming out to be? Like, are they harmful to our gut? Like, what are they doing to us?
Mm. So let's start with emulsifier.
Yep.
So an emulsifier is something that makes two liquids that would normally not join together, such as, let's say, water and oil, um, come together. So they'll use emulsifiers in skincare, they'll use it in foods, so they may use it in medicines. As long as they need to pull things together is what an emulsifier is. So emulsifiers could be sunflower lecithin, could be soya lecithin, and how they make it. Like I read patents, and I tell you what, they're repetitive and they're boring, but that's where I get my information from is from patents.
Mm.
So it really depends on what patent that they are using to make that emulsifier. But we've identified that most emulsifiers that are man-made are causing leaky gut or
Mm.
problems with the gut. So let's just look at soya lecithin. So soya lecithin is made from the soybean. Soybean could have been grown as a genetically modified soybean, which is Roundup ready, which will have glyphosate in it.
Mm.
So does it have any glyphosate in it when, when it's all finished and it becomes just an emulsifier? I don't know. But what I do know is this, is that I'm not prepared to support an industry that grows food that way,
Mm.
sprays glyphosate on land that destroys the ecology of their land. And if there is any glyphosate still in that emulsifier, even if it's 0.01 part per million, it's still going to affect my microbiome
Mm.
because it is a patented antibiotic. So I figured this out. The Australian government believe for my weight, I'm 60 kilos, that I can have 18 milligrams of glyphosate a day. And
Oh.
that will be okay for me to have 18 milligrams. So if I eat bread and margarine that's made with canola oil or soybean oil, and I eat cheeses that have got an emulsifier in it, or if I decide to have soya milk, or if I decide to have like wheat, anything with wheat in it, which will have 10 parts per million of glyphosate, that's the limit. Oh, no, sorry, it's 20 parts per million in
Mm.
Australia. So if I decide to do that, and I do that on a daily basis, over a period of time, I'll eat 2 kilos of glyphosate
Oh.
in my lifetime. 2 kilos. What is that doing to my microbiome? Considering when you dilute glyphosate, it's a Coke can full,
Yeah.
let's
Wow.
say a Coke can full,
Yeah.
of glyphosate in water over an acre of land. That's how effective glyphosate is.
Yeah, like that's to put that in perspective, you don't need much to have such a big impact. So in ourselves, that's a scary thought. So what is it doing to us? Like, what is it doing to microbiome? Like, is it just decimating it? Is it, what's the
It's
research saying?
eroding it.
Yeah.
It's slowly eroding it as it erodes the bacteria of the soil. That's how
Mm.
it kills plants,
Mm.
is that it kills all the good bacteria in your soil, leaves the pathological ones alone because they don't have the pathway that glyphosate kills. Those pathological bacteria make their way up to the plant and kills it, basically.
Yeah,
It
wow.
also is a chelating agent, so it stops the minerals going into the plant. So this is just soya lecithin.
Mm.
And they could also desiccate sunflowers with the glyphosate as well. So they use glyphosate in GMO foods, but they also use it as a desiccant, which is a drying agent for crops.
Mm.
So that's just your emulsifier. Just
Mm.
that's it. So let's look at your gums. So
Yes.
some gums like carrageenan or guar gum or any of those gums, if you go to the patents, they can be made in several ways. But I don't remember exactly what carrageenan does, but I do know that if you look up additives, it's one that you shouldn't be taking. But it's in everything. It's in mayonnaises. It's in anything that needs to be thickened.
Mm.
They put these gums in. I've seen it in cream. I've seen it in like anything
I've
where you
seen it,
think
I think in ice cream. I think I've
ice
seen it.
cream. Yep.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
yes. Ice cream. Actually, I love Mangali.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
that's lovely.
Mangali is an amazing product. Their cream is incredible. Their practices in farming are incredible. Everything they do is incredible. So I noticed their ice cream had three gums in it. So I actually rang the owner and I said, "Why are you doing this? Your ice cream's perfect except for those gums." And he told me that they do it because of transport. So
Mm.
if the ice cream freezes and then unfreezes and then freezes again, it doesn't crystallize.
Yep.
So, that's the whole idea of these gums is to stop that crystallization with the ice cream. So I put him onto a natural food scientist and hopefully he will change. I don't know, but hopefully he will change
Wow.
and take those gums out. But it's about asking these
Yeah.
beautiful people that all they've got is a food technologist telling them, "Oh, you must have this."
Yep.
Whereas I'm kind of saying, no, why do we need that? So these gums are in tomato sauce. Like you might have barbecue sauce, tomato sauce, um, another tasting sauce, a chili sauce. And what it is it starts with a tomato and then it has an acidity regulator, a gum.
Hmm.
It just has all of these different ones all the time, all of these things, but it's, and what did I say? Acidity regulator, a gum, and a flavor.
Yep.
That's and a color, by the way. So it'll be tomato and then all of that. And it'll be barbecue sauce, tomato sauce, not the old-fashioned way of doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm very much against the gums, and I choose not to consume them
Mm.
because number one, I don't know what ingredient they're using. Are they using one that is made through synthetic biology or precision fermentation, or is it being made through some other extreme extraction
Mm.
where the gum's coming from? So yeah, that's another one. But another one that you didn't mention, but I'm going to mention
Yeah.
is an acidity regulator.
Yes.
So an acidity regulator is usually citric acid. It could be ascorbic acid. So a citric acid sounds good. Oh, it's going
Yes.
to
I was going to say that sounds citrusy. Yeah.
citrusy. But in actual fact, it's a mold. It's a genetically modified mold
Mm.
that they put on a substrate. Now, vanilla, remember, was plastic. Well, this substrate's a food. And then it produces citric acid. So for people who are very sensitive to molds, you would avoid citric acid.
Yeah.
Ascorbic acid, which is vitamin C, is made with a genetically modified bacteria.
Mm.
So it will be, and that's all vitamin C, by the way. That's the ones in your supplements, or ascorbic acid, I should
Mm.
say. It's the ones in your supplements. It's in your food, whatever they're doing. That is made through a genetically modified bacteria
Yeah.
that is placed on glucose, sugar. So, and sugar is also, they use glyphosate to spray on sugar. I've just gotten to the point where I am for, probably depending on whether I go out to eat or whether I'm traveling, I can't always do this.
Mm.
But when I'm at home, I do the best I
Yeah.
possibly can.
Yeah.
I don't have any of these things in my fridge, in my pantry. So while I'm home, everything is absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
But when I'm out, I can't always know what they're doing out there. I do ask the question about vegetable oils. Could you please cook my omelette in butter, not a vegetable oil or olive oil? I will make those distinctions when I go out for dinner or
Hmm.
for breakfast.
Yep.
But for the most part, and I'm like, I'm no longer a mum. I do still have my children, but I'm no longer have them at home. I'm a grandmother now, so I have that time. It's just my husband and I at home. So I have that time to do that preparation and do things like that. But when I was a mum with three little kids,
Yeah.
I did the same thing.
Mm.
Everything was made from scratch. Everything was taken to school.
Yeah.
They had tuck shop on Fridays. I let them do what they want. If they went to a party, I let them do what they want. But as
Yeah.
long as they were home, we ate that way.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's kind of where people are probably listening to this. And like I said before, people think, oh, okay, well, now I just have to, I don't know, cut myself off from the world. But it's about reframing that to be like, no, well, what can we do that is within our power that doesn't feel like you're, excluding yourself and shutting yourself off from interacting with everyone and everything else, but also is just looking after yourself and running your household in a way that is good and sustainable for you and your family. And the rules are obviously when we talk about anything, you do something for 90% of the time, the 5% of the time that you're not doing it, like we can forgive that because the majority of the time I've got that 95% kind of structure in place. And I think when we're talking about this, to have that small bit of leeway is hopefully going to make some of these things that we're talking about to people a sense of this is achievable for me to do rather than it's all too hard for me to do.
Yeah.
Um, and you've mentioned things like seed oils, and I feel like there's a ton of information. Maybe it's just my algorithm at the moment, but there is really emotive sides on both sides of the argument. Now, I am not for seed oils. I don't like them at all. I don't cook with them. But there are some people that are like, that's just BS. Seed oils, they aren't a problem. What is the science saying? And what exactly for people who are like, I don't really know what a seed oil is, like what is a seed oil and where is it found?
Yeah. So your seed oils, or vegetable oils, are made from soya, canola, rice bran. I don't know how they do that, but I will tell you. How do you get oil out of bran? I've always,
Hmm.
that was my first question when it came out. I went, grapeseed oil.
Yep.
Um, oh gosh, there's quite a few of them. So it's
Yes.
there, and I want people to think this. Okay, look at a grape seed. Can you cold press that grape seed and get fat out of it?
Yeah, no.
No. What about rice? Even if it's not the bran and it's the germ, how the hell do they do that? Soya is a legume and it does have fat in it. Canola is a seed and it does have fat in it. Sunflower is quite fatty. You can feel that in the nut, like in that. So the problem is getting the oil out of it. Oh, cottonseed oil. How do they do that? I'll never know. But the problem is getting the fat out of it. They have to do a hexane, which is a chemical process in order to get it out. Sometimes it can be cold pressed for a small amount of it, but then they have to heat it, they have to deodorize it, they have to filter it. There's about 5 processes, and I talk about that in my book, Lab to Table. So everything that we talk about is in my book, Lab to Table. So if they want to know more about this,
Mm.
you just read it in the book, Lab to Table. So basically, it's the process to get these oils out. Plus, they are high in omega 6s. And it's nothing wrong with omega 6s. They're part of what we
Yep.
should be eating. It's just that we should have a nice ratio with them.
Yep.
So the oils that I look at are the ones that I can cold press. And one is coconut oil.
Yep.
I've been to Vanuatu. I've watched the process by the natives. They warm the coconut. They actually have a press. And I've watched them press the beautiful oil out of it. Almonds, you can do that. And when you think about olive,
Mm.
olive is a fruit, avocado is a fruit, and you can press the oil out of those.
Yep.
And they're done on a local basis. They're not done in industry. So I've never seen a cotton farmer press his oil, but I've seen an avocado farmer press his oil. I've never seen a grape farmer press their grapes.
No.
But, well, I've seen them press their grapes to get the wine out and the
Yeah, yeah.
juice out, but not the seed.
Different
That,
product.
that has to go somewhere else. But I do know olive
Mm.
farmers that press their own oil. I've been there, I've done, and I've seen that. So I'm very much of the thing. If I can't do it manually myself or with a special machine, a press, then I'm not going to touch it. And these vegetable oils are stable. You never know if they go rancid because they've taken the deodorization out of it. They can sit in clear plastic and never go off. Like I
Mm.
see them on people's barbecues in
Yeah.
plastic that's clear.
Yeah.
But if you buy olive and if you buy avocado, they're all in dark glass. I don't know if people have noticed that.
Yes.
But there's a reason for that because they go off.
Yeah.
They're full of nutrients and eventually they go rancid. And if they have gone rancid, throw them out.
Yeah.
Do not use them. And if your nuts have gone rancid, throw them out. Do not use them because they cause oxidation in the body.
Mm.
Mm.
I think that's like there's simple things to look out for is buying oils, first of all, for people to go back and listen to the types of oils like that were good, the avocado, the almond, the olive oil versus those that aren't. But simple things like, is it in dark glass? That's probably a good sign because
Mm.
if they're making something cheap and nasty, canola or whatever, they're probably putting it in something cheap and nasty, like a clear plastic, versus, as we said, the preservation of the nutrients that are in that oil. Also, really good to say to people, food should be going off if it's of
Mm.
real quality. Like, if it's going off, it means that it was food, versus this limitless lifetime that we have on food, which is not natural. That's not what food is. Food does have a cycle. So that's actually really good for people to be like, oh, my nuts are off, my oil's off. You probably bought the right thing. Great, keep
Mm.
doing that.
Yeah.
Um, we were talking about before, we've mentioned it here, I guess, now getting into a few more food labels, but just one thing I wanted to mention about or ask about is margarine. It's still, and I grew up where, and I think many people listening to this will have grown up with that being pushed as a better alternative to butter. What do we actually know about margarine now?
Yeah. So those vegetable oils that we've been talking about were once industrial seed oils. So they were used in industry for engines
Mm,
and for, like WD-40, those types of things they were used for. And they still are used today for those things.
mm.
Actually, in America, there's this thing called zero acre oil. And they're saying, oh, it's a monounsaturated fat, it's a perfect oil, but zero acre, meaning there is no acres used in the making of this oil. In other words, it doesn't come from food, from
Oh,
seeds or nuts or olives or avocados or sunflower, anything like that. But what it's coming from, and it started as a diesel, a biodiesel.
oh my gosh.
So what they did was that they genetically modified a microbe and put it on a substrate to make a diesel.
Mm.
But he couldn't make it cheap enough. There were two guys. They couldn't make it cheap enough. They were making it at $60 a barrel for a liter, I think it was, and they needed to make it at $2 a liter for it to compete with diesel. So what they ended up doing was they ended up making oil for human consumption called
Oh, get out.
zero acre oil. I think it's wrong. I don't think it should be allowed. But anyway, watch out for it. I hope it never comes to Australia, but
Mm.
it's in the US. So this is how oil is being manufactured. So it used to be for the industry. One of the people that was in that industry were Procter and Gamble.
Mm.
So they're a drug company now, but Procter and Gamble were brothers-in-laws who one was a candlestick maker and one was a soap maker.
It sounds like the start of like a nursery rhyme.
It is a horrible nursery rhyme. It doesn't end well.
Keep going, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's great. So they were brothers-in-laws and they had this and they had a problem because they used to use lard and tallow to
Mm.
make their candles and it used to go off because it's food that goes off. Lard and tallow will go off.
Yep.
So they couldn't make a lot at a time. So they commissioned a scientist to figure out a fat that would never ever go off.
Wow.
So this scientist figured out that if he took one of those industrial seed oils, such as cottonseed oil,
Yep.
or canola, but canola, by the way, canola stands for Canada's oil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's what it stands for. It's
I
actually rapeseed.
I think I only found out recently that that's what it stood for. And I was like, where have I been? Like it was kind of like, what? It's actually, yeah, crazy.
Yeah. So it's actually the rapeseed, and it's called the rapeseed because it'll grow on anything. It's got hardly any nutrition in it. it rapes the land, basically. I'm pretty sure that's why it was called that. But anyway, so Procter and Gamble commissioned this scientist, and this scientist figured out that if he saturated the polyunsaturated, now listen
Mm.
to this, saturated polyunsaturated,
Yep.
if he saturated the polyunsaturated oil with hydrogen atoms,
Yep.
then it would be solid at room temperature.
Mm.
And they could make lard and soap with it, and it never, ever, ever went off.
Mm.
And then candles were no longer needed because the electricity came in. The soap, they still continue to use the vegetable oil, and they still continue to use vegetable oil today for our soaps. And remember, your skin takes
Yeah,
in
it's
this,
absorbing.
it's
Yeah.
absorbing. So, what they ended up doing is that they figured out that if they partially hydrogenated it, so it would be monosaturated and everything, that it kind of had the texture of like a coconut oil,
Yeah.
kind of. So they called it Crisco.
Yes.
And with Crisco, they then had to always, for the housewife in America,
Yeah.
they had to give them a recipe to show them how to use Crisco.
Yeah.
Then they figured out if they dyed it yellow, they could say it's the cheap version of butter. And that's how it started, was the cheap version of butter. Then in the 60s and 70s, when fat became a problem, it became the healthy alternative to butter, saturated fat.
Yeah.
Saturated fat was never a problem, but they made that a problem. And then in the 80s, when cholesterol became a problem, they went, oh, it reduces cholesterol. But all they did was add a plant sterol, so from broccoli or whatever.
Yeah.
It just morphed. It morphed as cheap. And now it's the same price as butter. I see Proactive at 7.95, I think. I haven't looked at the price lately, but I know it's expensive.
Mm.
And all it is margarine
A plant
with a little
sterol.
bit of plant sterol in it to reduce cholesterol. But oh my gosh, to me, it was a nightmare. And then it had trans fats in it. That's right. The 90s, it had trans fats in it.
Yes.
The late 90s, oh no, it was actually early 2000 to 2009, trans fats. Oh, trans fats cause heart disease. Oh, we better take the trans fats out. So this is what they did. And I don't know if anybody has noticed it, but it's no longer called margarine. It's called vegetable spread, Olivio, anything but margarine. And the
Mm.
reason why is that they no longer could use the hydrogenation process on the vegetable oil. They had to change that process to a process called intersterification. And there's a study out of Malaysia that showed that 6 weeks of consuming a fat that's been intersterified, and it creates an IF, an intersterified fat,
Mm.
it causes a insulin resistant process in the body. In other words, the start of diabetes, a pre-diabetic state.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
look at diabetes in Australia today, 1.7 million people have been diagnosed with diabetes.
Yeah.
Is it sugar or
Mm.
is it fat? Is it the
Yeah.
vegetable oil? I believe it's the vegetable oil spreads, all of those, because they're kind of equal butter on the store shelf now. When I started this whole process, it was about 20% butter, 80% margarine, and
Yeah.
now it's about 50 vegetable oil, 50% butter. I'm noticing there's more a sway to the butter, although it depends on what vicinity I'm in. I was in New Zealand in a lower socioeconomic area, and 80% was vegetable spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that like brings into, oh gosh, we need to probably have a 10-part talk, Cindy, but like, oh my God, my brain is just like, oh, that's a great question. That's a great question. But like you are mentioning so many things about like affordability, how,
Mm.
accessibility, packaging and the names and just there's just so much deceit. And I guess in this instance, for people, would your recommendation just be get butter? Just get, and not spreadable butter, just get butter. Like
Mm.
if you're looking at, would that be kind of, because me, myself personally, I get organic butter. And it honestly, when I look at the cost, not that, that is what I'd be buying anyway, but the cost, it really isn't that much difference at like, when with what I'm choosing. But would that be your recommendation? Be like, just drop the margarine or, vegetable oil spread or whatever in whatever it goes under. Would that be kind of what you're saying for people that are like, well, what do I buy?
Yeah. And if you want a spreadable butter and you want to extend the life of the butter as far as how much you consume, you can make your own spreadable butter. You just add olive oil or some sort of oil to it so it's not hard in the fridge.
Mm.
There are ways to do it, and I talk about that in my book, how to do this in lab to table. So it's like I've just done a summit in the US, and it was about eating on a budget.
Yep.
And, like if I go and buy coconut yogurt, let's just say, if I go and buy coconut yogurt, it's like $15.
Yep.
But if I buy a can of coconut at 400 ml, I can buy one for $2 organic. I buy them in cases of 12. If I buy that, then I can add a little bit of my probiotics to that, put it on in a glass jar, put it on my shelf for maybe 24 to 48 hours. In the winter, it's probably 48. In the summer, it's 24, sometimes 12 here in Queensland. And I've made fermented yogurt, just like 500 ml by the time it all gets itself up and going. I
Yep.
probably made about 500 ml for $2 and a little bit of probiotic. Let's add 10 cents for there.
Yep. Yep.
That's it.
I love
And I
that.
can do that with all my fermented foods. Sauerkraut, $15 for a glass jar. I can do it for $2. I go and get my cabbage, put some salt in it, massage it, put it in my jar.
Yep.
So, I think people look at it and go, oh, it's too expensive. But to make it takes 2 seconds.
Yes.
I can make apple cider. Apple cider is 6.95 for 250 ml.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I can make a liter I can buy it for $7 in glass, put my probiotics, sit it on my bench. So it doesn't, it's about, let's take it step by step.
Yes.
Let's just say this week you change your salt habit or your butter margarine habit or your fermented habit or your dairy habit. Just say, let's do one a week.
Mm,
If you never ever do it in a year, you're going to be in the same position you were.
for sure.
But if in a year you've done 52 changes, let's just say, and some is as easy as your salt or your sugar or your dairy, it's just a matter of going, right, I'm going to check dairy today. I'm
Yep.
going to figure out what's just pasteurized or raw if you can get it, but I didn't say that. But what's just pasteurized? Um, and I'm going to make sure that that's my new habit change for
Mm,
that week.
yeah.
And by doing that in 52 weeks, in 1 year, can you imagine where you will be?
Yeah. That's a lot of change, but in a very achievable,
Achievable.
yeah, an
Yep,
achievable way.
very achievable. So don't, if people are listening and they're getting, oh my God, I can't do that. I don't know. Look, it's just too much. Just go, right. She talked about acidity regulators. I'm going to make sure everything in my pantry has not one acidity regulator in there,
Yeah.
considering we have a mold problem. Maybe that's where you start.
Yeah.
Talked about salt. What's the better salt that I should be having? Get rid
Mm,
of the refined salt, get an unrefined salt. And I do a non-ocean salt now because the oceans are polluted and there's microplastic. So
yeah.
you just got to think,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, what comes from there? If you can get Atacama, get Atacama. It's very hard, but it's high in iodine. I use Himalayan salt and then I add a dose to it.
Yep.
Seaweed, that's the iodine. So,
Yep.
there are things you do. You read that in the book, Lab to Table. So I guess why I'm saying Lab to Table is that we are going to give away a copy of Lab to
Yes, we
Table
are.
because we made that decision because I think I would like to give somebody that opportunity to do that. And you'll make sure that your team, everybody knows how they can
Absolutely.
get it. Yeah.
Absolutely. What we will do is when we show this clip of us on Instagram, there will be details as to how you can get that one lucky person. And yeah, Sydney, that's a really amazing gift for people. But also, even if you're not that one person that gets gifted this, that this is something that you should be looking at getting because you've mentioned, the last couple of minutes not only is it about better for our health, but it's better for our pockets, which at the moment, the cost of living crisis
Mm.
is real. And people are having to make decisions and make sacrifices where they don't want to, like they want to be like, if money wasn't an issue, they would be buying XYZ. But what you're saying is like, even if you did have the money, you're probably actually better to do it at home. And it's really simple. And of course, if we're habit stacking one habit for the next 52 weeks, all of these things that we're mentioning are going to be far less intimidating in terms of just changing your life. And so thank you again for that gorgeous offer with your book. But I wanted to get into, I guess, a bit more of a practical side of this. I mean, this has all been very practical, but in terms of reading labels,
Mm.
we mentioned at the beginning that it's more than your macronutrients. That's about your, obviously, all the different things that we've mentioned, acidity regulators and emulsifiers and thickeners and things like that. Are there things that have been put on our label that we should be ignoring, like the 5-star ratings? I don't know, like, what is it that you're just like calling it out? Ignore that. This is how we should be looking at a label.
I figured if it's got a 1-star rating, take it. If it's got a 5-star rating, forget it.
Yeah, look, butter, there's a great example versus
I
margarine.
know. No, it's just beyond comprehension. But what the star rating is about, which is like the heart tick of approval, it
Yep.
was exactly the same. It was about macronutrients. It had nothing to do with ingredients.
Mm,
So
yep.
remember that we've the star rating is a waste of time, and it's given by basic. Like it just is beyond my comprehension that they can even think that that's still okay, that star rating.
Yep.
So ignore the star rating, ignore gluten free, ignore everything that is saying or lactose free or sugar free, or because there will be a replacement.
Yeah.
It
Light is a really good, like low fat light, those types of things as
yeah.
well. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, they'll always put something else in it, and they used to add more sugar to it. I don't have a problem with sugar.
Yep.
I don't have a problem with an unrefined, good quality sweetener.
Yep.
Honey. We've been
Yep.
drink eating, we've been robbing nests forever.
Yep.
Rapadura sugar, which is an unrefined sugar. It's not white, it's brown. It's got magnesium in it. It's got all of these wonderful things that help you use the sugar. I don't have a problem with pure maple syrup
Mm.
or maple water, even. So there's all of these wonderful real sugars that are out there, but they're replacing it with something called monk fruit.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is your take
Orbitin.
on, yeah, what's your take on all of those healthier, the stevia, monk fruit, erythritol, xylitol, those types of things?
Well, all the ols are
Yep.
alcohol sugars,
Yep.
and I talk about that in the book, Lab to
Yep.
Table. So it tells you what it's doing to the body, these alcohol sugars.
Hmm.
And they're all man-made.
Yep.
They're not coming from anywhere else. Or sometimes they might come from bamboo. I think one comes from bamboo, but
Yep.
they're all man-made. But I look at monk fruit. So monk fruit is a beautiful fruit, and all they're doing is extracting the sweet part of that fruit.
Mm.
Uh, but then they add it to, and I've seen this where it says monk fruit sweetener, and then you flip it over and you read the ingredients: 1% monk fruit, 99% erythritol.
Yes. I've seen that one.
Like and so you don't know whether it says if it is monk fruit, if 99% is erythritol. I taste that monk fruit and I just want to spit it out. It is the worst tasting, I think,
Mm.
thing that I've ever tasted because of the extraction process. But they've gotten really smart. They've figured out with precision fermentation or synthetic biology how to make monk fruit. So how do
Mm.
you know if it's a mold, a bacteria, a virus that's making that monk fruit for you? Are you prepared to be part of that human experiment where you're
Mm.
eating these things? I don't know. I'm not. Thaumatin is the same. Thaumatin is another fruit, but they now make that through genetic modification of bacteria. And thaumatin is a flavor enhancer as well as it can be a sweetener. Stevia. Now, stevia is a herb
Mm.
and it's beautiful. I grow it and I put it in my hole and I
Yep.
put it in my cups of tea, and it just sweetens my tea and it doesn't have that stevia taste.
Yep.
They are extracting the glycoside out of it, or they can use synthetic biology, and that's called Eversweet. Forget the second name. Cargill make it, but it's synthetic biology of
Yep.
making it. So these are the replacements they're doing, all the alcohol, sugars, artificial sweeteners, these new monk fruits, thaumatins, those types of
Mhm.
one. Personally, and I'm seeing them in kids' supplements, like the
Yep.
chewable
Yep.
ones. I'm even seeing flavors in kids' supplements, natural.
Yep. Yep.
I am I'm a foodie
Yep.
through and through.
Yep.
Give me the real stuff. Don't give me something that you've made in a chemical laboratory because you say it's sugar free. So I do know that some of the those types of sugars are still spiking your sugar.
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really careful of those. Have real sugar. Make a muffin, put real sugar in it. Why put that crap in it, you know?
Yeah.
And little bits aren't going to make it that much difference. And your body knows how to process it. And as long as you are doing the right foods. But first of all, they made fat the enemy. Now they're making sugar the enemy. First of all, they substituted fat with other things, and now they're substituting sugar with everything. And now protein's a problem, meat proteins.
Yeah.
So now they're substituting it with fake meats.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what we have to do is ignore science,
Yep.
ignore all of the food manufacturing, and let's just eat the way we used to eat. We'd sit down, we'd kill an animal, we'd have meat, we'd get the tubers out of the ground, we'd put them in the fire, we'd have roast veggies.
Mm.
Just go back natural, go back old fashioned, the
Yeah.
way we used to do it. And thank goodness there are some bakeries, there are some like Lavali is a beautiful company up here on the sunny coast, and they produce prepared meals
Oh, nice.
from scratch, but they prepare for you. So if you're really in a hurry, have one of them in the freezer
Yeah.
so you can pull that out and not have takeaway where you don't know whether it's a vegetable or something like that.
Yeah.
They use good quality spices, good quality oils, good quality meats, good quality everything. So there are these types of people out there. I'm
Mm.
just giving you one.
Yeah.
So find them in your local markets, in your local health food stores. They're there, but read the ingredients.
Yep.
Some of them aren't good.
Mm.
I see them in health food stores and I go, oh gosh, why have you got them in there? So read your ingredients. Just always read your ingredients. And if it's like a recipe that you
Yep.
pull out to start for your dinner. Another thing that I do a lot of is I buy a lot of chuck steak. So let's go budgeting.
Yep.
So I buy some chuck or some diced meat that you're never going to get a good steak out of.
Yep.
And in the morning, I fry up my onion and my garlic. I throw it in my slow cooker. I fry up my meat just quickly. I throw it in my slow cooker. I then make up a curry sauce. And you can go and buy a $14 curry sauce if you
Yep.
want. Or for a couple of dollars, you can get some coconut cream, some tomato paste. I usually throw an apple in there, a little bit of wine. I throw my curry, and often I'll use like the Secret Spice Co. She's really good. Mingle's good.
Yes,
All of
mingle.
those are
Yep.
good. All of those are good. Throw that in there. Heat that up. I have a Thermomix. I'm lucky. You can buy cheap Thermomixes these days, but I have a Thermomix. I throw it all in there. I make up a sauce. I throw that in the slow cooker and I let it cook all day. And my husband and I come home, and all I have to do is cook up some rice or some veggies. Takes me minutes when you get home.
Yep.
So, like if you're looking after children, there's no reason you can't do that early in the morning.
Mm.
It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's quick, it's easy, it cooks all day, it's
Yep.
hot, and oh, I love it. I love it. I do it with lamb shanks, I do it with ossobuco. To find your cheap cuts and do it, do it that way.
And it's the perfect season, I guess, in that winter's, I mean, summer is different, but I feel a bit
Mm,
more like those warming things. But you're right in terms of you can get cheap cuts, that and the way you cook it can basically turn leather. Not that it's that bad,
it's true.
but like into like the most like, pull apart stuff you've ever
Mm,
had. I feel like I implement a lot of those hacks in my house and the cooking like the bit extra and putting some in the freezer because there are nights where there's the can't be bothered nights or there's the oh my goodness, where I got home too late nights and,
mhm,
there's just things that are to defrost. I do think the freezer is one of the most amazing things that we have in modern day living. Use it because like we can really save ourselves time, energy, money if we maybe cook a bit extra of different things. And what you said about even when people are like, oh, I don't want to make my own spice mix, there are brands out there that know that additive and preservative free spice mixes are in demand. And Mingle, like, I feel like they've been around for a very long time. I feel like they've just exploded in their range. Like,
mm.
you could make everything, with a Mingle sachet, just go to your local and they're in the big supermarkets. They are making delicious food accessible but also good for us because they're taking out all of the things that we've spoken about. I guess so that makes sense when it comes to label. Read our labels, scrap the idea of following the 5-star rating. We've just kind of debunked that. When they say things, what I actually non-GMO, is that something that we have to list in Australia, that it's non-GMO? And if they do list it, do we listen to that? Just because from what you've been speaking about, there's a lot of GMO stuff going on. So if it is listed as non-GMO, is that true?
No,
Okay,
it's
great.
true for if it's genetically modified plants.
Yep.
So that's like your soya, your canola, those types of ones. That's where it's true for.
Hmm.
But when it comes to synthetic biology, you don't know
Mm.
because they're not telling you. They are not marking it. They're not putting it on our food at all. They won't say, oh, this ingredient is made from GMO microbes. So they say it's non-GMO that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see even organic. Like I'm an organic retailer,
Yeah.
wholesaler. Anyway, I'm an organic company. I'm both,
You're like,
I
what am
guess.
I?
Yeah, I'm both. And that's with changing habits. And I am so strict.
Mm.
I am the absolute best at my certification.
Yeah.
And I am probably the most strict person you could come to when you're buying from changing habits. And then I go see someone with the same certification as me with a flavor that I know is synthetic biology, with an acidity regulator that I know is synthetic biology. And I'm furious. I'm
Mm.
absolutely furious. It's the same with my education company. I'm certified as a II, why have I
Who
forgotten?
am I? What am I certified in?
IICT. I am certified with them. All of a sudden, I just was forgetting.
That's all
I'm
right.
certified with them, and you become once you finish and it's anywhere between 400 and 500 hours.
Mm.
When you finish my course, you are a functional nutrition consultant.
Mm.
I've just seen that they have certified somebody who has a 12-week program
Mm.
that has not got the science backing that I've got. So once again, I go, "Well, why is that happening? You know,
Yeah.
why are they doing that? It's not horses for courses. It's not
No.
apples and apples. It's completely different. It's fruits and vegetables almost, you
Yeah.
know? And I sometimes get a little bit, I try my best and I do the best I can. I get certified and then I see them certify something that I wouldn't touch,
Mm.
wouldn't
Mm.
have. And I
Mm.
just think everything is getting watered down. And you need to really look into what you're doing, whether you want to be educated or whatever that certification is, whether it's non-GMO or what are the other ones that are out there? Something verified. There's organic. There's all sorts of certifications. And I think they're being watered down.
Mm.
So I want to know the farmer. I want to know the maker. Like I talked to you about Lavali. I talked
Yep.
about the Secret Spice Co. I know these people.
Yep.
I contact them. I want to know, that's what I do. And then you can learn from me if that's what you want. And
Mm.
I will tell you the people that I recommend because I've done my research. But as a mom and a grandma, that's what I did.
Mm.
I was always ringing up companies. Like at the moment, I'm ringing the government
Wow.
asking for something
Yep.
4 months.
Yeah.
And I ask for the same thing every time. The same thing. They never answer me. They never give me what I want. I want to study
Yeah.
and I want to study about the safeness of something. And because they're putting it in an official letter, and I'm like going, oh, they must have a study on this. So I'll
Yeah.
get the study.
Yes.
Huh. They've gave me a survey last time I got a survey.
We
And
want
I'm
the
like going,
study.
I didn't ask for a survey. I don't want to know people's opinion. I want the study. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, 4 months asking the government, the health department for this.
Wow.
It's driving me like I'm ready to ring them up and go, do you not understand what I'm asking for? I explain it every time they send me something. First, they sent me something and I looked at it and I went, I didn't ask for that.
Not that.
Okay, I'll ask them again. So anyway, you've just got to, someone's got to do it. And so I do it.
Look, and we thank you for that because it's a minefield. I think for people listening to this, probably worse than what they thought. And I guess that kind of brings me to just a really important question of how do we look after our mental health when we're if we now that we are becoming more aware of this, if people listening to this, if they're looking at their lives thinking, oh my, I'm freaking out, or the list is too big to do in terms of me changing my life. And I guess like I don't want people to kind of walk away feeling so overwhelmed and anxious. What, how do you like, what would your advice to them be?
Step by step, one by
Yes.
one,
Yeah.
one thing at a time. That would be one.
Yeah.
Number two, if you do have a mental health issue,
Yeah.
this is huge, but I'll try and do it small.
Yeah.
So there's such a thing as called metabolic psychology and metabolic psychiatry.
Hmm.
And it's where they're realizing that if we change the metabolism of the brain
Mm.
by using foods,
Yeah.
we change the mental health of the human.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like an 80%, like or it's almost 80% that people's minds start to change and their brain
Mm.
starts to change. So if you're in a situation where your mental health isn't good and and you feel overwhelmed
Yeah.
and you can't make any changes and life's just too hard, when you change your diet, you change the metabolism of the brain, which then changes your ability for making changes in your life, becoming more flexible, being a bit more adventurous,
Mm.
and then doing the next step.
Yeah.
So I know that changing your physical body, you will change your brain as well.
Yeah.
And that's a whole new conversation to talk
Yeah.
about. I'm actually creating a whole, I've written a book on it and now I'm creating a whole course on it because I think it's really important when I have a look at what's happening to our kids
Hmm.
in mental illness. Like I've been at a conference for children over the weekend and the statistics on the biggest killer, I think it's in our adolescence is suicide.
Oh my goodness.
So we need to change this. We need to change it not only for ourselves, but our kids.
Definitely.
And so I understand it's overwhelming,
Mm.
but if not you, who? If not now, when? That's
Yeah.
all I can say to you guys.
Yeah.
And if you are young and you're a young mum or you're wanting to become pregnant or you have kids at school, it doesn't matter. You can do it. Do it step by step. And in a year, you look at where you'll be, educate yourself. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm not only going to give away a book, I'm actually going to give away a $295 introduction to nutrition program.
Wow.
So that is a step by step, bit by bit type of thing that you can do as well, but gives you a little bit more, and it's audio visual reading. So I'll give away that as well. So
Oh my
let's
goodness.
do that as well. I just think I
Mm.
can see who your audience is.
Mm.
And I just think education is the key.
Yeah.
Once you're educated, you can't not know this stuff.
Yeah.
Once you know this stuff, if you ignore it, then it's at the detriment of your health and your children's health and planet health. So
Yeah.
I look at it in a whole scope.
Yeah.
So let's
Oh
do
my
that as
goodness.
well. Let's get
I
that away.
I mean, thank you. Absolutely. I think that is wonderful. Just I'm already, yeah. So thank you so much. And we'll
You're welcome.
absolutely make that work. And I think people learning about this, they will, I hopefully, and especially those words about, I guess, looking after our mental health and how we do it. Again, we can just all kind of take a big breath and just say, it's okay. We can just do things bit by bit. There's no timeline for this change. It is just going to be
Mm.
a gradual thing. And again, with that awareness, we become empowered. So more from that perspective. And that's how, when it comes to just people's awareness about their body with what I do in clinic, again, that any change can be overwhelming, but we need to kind of break it down and just say to ourselves, we've got to be patient with ourselves while we're learning all these new things and implementing these new things because it's new, it's new to us.
Yeah. Anything new takes time. So, but
Mm.
you can do it.
Oh, absolutely. Cyndi, this is, oh gosh, like I have still so many questions. I think probably we need to get you on at another point, because there is so much more that I want to learn from you. And I'm sure our listeners will just be like, okay, that was a small amount that I'd love to hear from Cyndi. So we'll need to get you back on some other time. But what you've shared has just been mind-blowing, would be an understatement, but really important. And I think you've just shared information that, like I said, is trying to take the wool off our eyes, that we don't have to, I guess, be at the mercy of what we're being told, that we do have some power within us to make better decisions for our health. And not only that, a lot of things that you said are going to be actually better for the hip pocket in the end,
Mhm.
which ultimately for a lot of people is what's, I guess, dictating their decisions. So yeah, I'm just lost for words. I thought I've learned so much today, and yeah, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thanks for tuning into Gutsy Talks. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired to take the next step in your gut health journey. If you're ready to dive deeper, head over to rachellarson.com.au. There's a range of courses and resources waiting for you. If you loved this episode, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with others who might benefit from this information. And so you don't miss out on future Gutsy Talks, be sure to hit follow and leave a review. I'd love to hear your feedback. I'm Rachel Larson, and I can't wait to connect with you again for our next Gutsy Talk.